Hello and welcome back to another episode of my RIMS Racing Career Mode, and today we are going to tackle the next three events. So of course we've only done one episode so far, which was a very odd one actually. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend you check that one out before I spoil what happened, but of course in the first proper race that we did, I accidentally went on the wrong tyres basically. It was a wet track, I put wet tyres on, they got absolutely shredded, so we ended up finishing last because I had to come into the pits and change the slicks. Then in the second race, absolute domination. We were 10 seconds a lap faster than the AI, and I thought I'd made a mistake with the AI difficulty, but as it turned out, it was on the hardest setting anyway. The career was set to Pro, but it was setting the AI to 60%. At this point, I'm unaware if that was a glitch or if that's intended, but I've checked, it's still on Pro. I even went into single player just before starting this, turned the AI difficulty up to 90 to see if that makes any difference. Probably won't, but you never know. Just to try and make the AI a little bit more competitive in this episode. But either way then, the first event we've got is at Suzuka. It's on the MV Agusta by the looks of it. It says the F4RC. So we'll start this event. It is learning about sector time, so it's a little bit of a tutorial then. It's an academy event. So we've got to keep the time in section 2 under 26 seconds, section 1 under 37 seconds, and section 3 under 59 seconds. So here we are then at the famous Suzuka Circuit. Now, I've not actually played this on RIMS Racing yet, so I'm not 100% sure how the track is going to be, because obviously, from every game, the tracks obviously differ slightly in width and things like that. They're never all 100% the same, so I'll obviously have to see that when we get into it, but it seems like it's going to be a bit of a time trial event, so kind of sections, and we've got to meet the time through those sections. A little bit weird how section 2 is first. I guess maybe we don't start on the starting line, or maybe it's because we obviously can't get a fair run at it. I'm not 100% sure. I suppose if we started from a standing start, it wouldn't be fair to mark you on sector 1, but then why would that be second in the list? It would be last, you would think, but oh well, it doesn't matter too much. You can see we actually have dry conditions this time, so not wet, so that's already an improvement over the previous episode. Quickly just checking the tyres. Actually, I'm on rain tyres anyway, but it looked to me like the asphalt was dry, so I would change the tyres, but I did say in the last episode I was going to start sticking with the default just to play it safe. So I'm sat here on the grid. It does actually look like I'm on a sort of just a default tyre, so I think I'm alright. I don't think I'm actually on wets. The lights on, away we go. We got a pretty good start there, but that was something I'd noticed in all the races against the AI. The MV Agusta's acceleration was unbelievable, so if you want to get the whole shot into turn 1, you've got to be on an MV Agusta. Actually, does look like the track is a bit wet though, so yeah, we probably are just on the stock OEM tyre, because that works in all conditions, of course. But this MV actually feels really nice. I think this has got to be my favourite bike in the game so far. I know I've only done a few corners on it, but it's a really flowing section of Suzuka, and the bike absolutely feels fantastic. I don't know whether that's maybe because I'm not 100% pushing yet, or I've gone off the track though anyway, so start to compliment the bike and yeah, I hit the ground. I suppose that's what happens when I'm like, oh, this bike feels amazing, I'm doing really well, and then just understeers into the gravel and falls off. The steering I am kind of getting used to now. It's more the braking. I've just got to adapt from the MotoGP games to that. I think like a lot of the time I'm just braking either too early or too late. It's costing me lap time or just making me run off the track and crash. I'll have to be careful into the hairpin though. On the brakes, into the hairpin curve. So that's another corner called the hairpin curve then. So there's one at Motegi, which I've always thought is a really weird name, and that hairpin is called the hairpin curve as well. Oh yes, it's the bike layout. It's the bike layout. Yep. Most of the time I've played Suzuka was on the Formula 1 game, so I was just thinking we were going to go straight there, but yeah, they put the little chicane in, don't they, for the bikes to slow them down before the spoon curve. So that's definitely worth remembering for the next lap, because I'm sure we're not actually going to get many attempts. I think we actually only get 2 laps, so this next lap better count. We best achieve all the tasks. So far we haven't got any of them. So that's just not a great sign. 130R, that's going to be interesting on this game. Well, we've made it through on the first attempt. That's good. I've got to remember what version of the chicane they use as well. Yeah, so they use the slightly further down, tighter chicane, don't they? The one track really where I know the F1 layout a lot better than the bike layout, because Suzuka's obviously not been in the MotoGP games for many years and it was only in Ride 4. which I didn't play an awful lot of. So we actually completed task 3 there, so my time in the last sector was good enough. So I think provided I don't run off track in the first couple of sectors, I should be good, although as I say that, I thought I was going to go off the track there, but just managed to stay on. Yeah, I've got to say, the MV does feel like a very sweet handling bike, so if I get an opportunity to get one, I definitely will try and get one. The BMW is fine, of course, and the V4R was quite fun, but I think this one feels like the best. It just seems to turn the best out of the lot. And I think it's got a slightly smoother power delivery as well, which I think is probably why it gets off the line so well, because it doesn't spin up. So we completed task 2 there, and I've crashed. Oh, well, that's going to be task 1 absolutely gone then. Every time I compliment the handling of this bike, I end up on the floor, so potentially I need to stop doing that. It's unfortunate, because actually I was getting into the groove. I felt like I could have done this second sector, but this is obviously my last lap actually at trying it, so I'm not going to be able to actually achieve that. I've done 4 attempts underneath my previous lap, which is nice. So into the hairpin curve once again. It's weird to see Dunlop adverts all over Suzuka. You would think it'd be more Bridgestone. Oh, again, I forgot about the chicane. How many times could I do that? So out of the last corner then, coming up towards the line, this has not been a great lap at all. We've managed to achieve 2 of the tasks though, so it's not the end of the world, and actually it's quite a long drag to the line. I think the finish line might have been the first one, but it seems like in this game, the start and finish lines are always the same. But overall, 5 minutes, 1 second, not too bad. I think obviously we'll get a fair few credits for that. We've got 4,000 credits, 2 team points, so maybe we can have a look at upgrading something on the management. And 4,000 XP as well, which takes us up to rider level 4, so that's nice. So my game actually just crashed on the loading screen, but it seems like everything's been saved, so that's good. So we'll head to the management now, and I'll buy another upgrade. So apparently I got a reward actually for completing one of their objectives as well, for doing an event with a windscreen over 52% condition value. I guess that's just because I've binned it so many times. But that's 500 free credits, I'll take that. And complete a lap on $1 Million Highway. Well, that's the objective to do now then. Well, I guess we'll have to see if that comes up at any point. But we've got 3 upgrades that we can get currently then. So either a slightly larger inventory, so medium expansion, we can get various items in 2 randomly chosen categories are discounted, or efficient recycling, so credits earned by selling components. Obviously, we've got no issue really about the inventory space. I think we should be okay for now. But probably the shop, that would probably help if things are a bit cheaper there. Although I've got a lot of damaged components that I probably want to replace, so it'll be between these 2. I think I'll go with the efficient recycling, because then that completes all the recycling, and then obviously then I can just buy everything on the shop front then. That's completed that. And obviously that'll be the last part of the tree. I don't know whether there will be another tree after this, because looking at this there really isn't much. I mean, look how many I've got. I've already got 4 of them, and this is only episode 2. But oh well, on to the next event now. Let's see what that is, if I actually click calendar. So it's back on the BMW, so I might actually have to go and have a look at the bike condition before starting this. But it is a sponsored event, so it's a PBR event, which I believe is exhausts, and it's at a Canadian Tire actually, so a track I know pretty well. 7 laps, drying track. Well, this time I'm going to go on dry tyres, not on wet ones. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm going to go quickly check the bike condition, see if I need to update anything, because obviously that bike did get crashed a lot in the last episode. So I've quickly just gone and looked. Everything seems to be pretty much okay. The worst things are in the yellow, so they still should be fine for quite a while. So let's get into this race then at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Hopefully we can have a good battle with the AI, and hopefully the difficulty isn't on 60 again. Well, unfortunately it is on 60 again. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to fix this. I'm guessing this is just intended. It's meant to be on 60 because I've got the career on Pro. I even went into a quick race and changed the difficulty to see if it was affected by that, but that was default to 70 anyway, not even 60, but I turned up to 90. Seems like we're just going to get 60 in every race, unfortunately, but for now, that's actually kind of okay because I'm pretty bad at the game at the minute anyway. So, if we quickly check the tyres, just to make sure we're on the right set, obviously the Metzler tyres, well the rain tyres are absolutely obliterated. I think maybe I'll go on the slightly worn OEM tyres, because obviously it is a drying track, so I think OEM's the best, because a slick, I think you'll crash. I think the tyres will be too cold early on, whereas during the actual race itself, if you're on just the OEM tyre, once the track starts to dry, you should have a pretty decent amount of grip still. And of course, as well, at the start I'm going to have enough grip, because it's got a tread on it, but it's not a massive tread where it's going to tear itself to pieces around the circuit. So I think it is the best tyre overall. We're starting last place as well, so that's not ideal, but since the AI are on a little bit of a lower difficulty, we should be able to carve our way through. I like that, and away we go. So a fair amount of wheel spin off the line, even with the OEM tyre. As we go into the first corner, we've got the undercut on a few riders. Oh, I think I'm going to get a penalty for that, that's for sure. Yep, quarter of a second penalty. I can't say that's unfair, because I did cut the corner a little bit. I was just trying to stay clear of the AI and not have any contact. But through this left-hander, again, I've done the same sort of thing. That should probably be another no penalty that time, so we got away with that one. But we're up to 5th place, so it's been a decent start, which you would expect, I suppose, on 60%. So here we are, then down the hill again. I'm looking for another move. Oh, this is close. I got another quarter of a second penalty for just touching the grass at a yellow rock. A rider with yellow leathers was going slow. That guy's just made a big mistake, so we've got us way up into 4th place now. We should get 3rd here. So that rider's going pretty slow. I've got to remember to bring my braking zone a bit forward for this next right-hander, because it was a little bit touch and go anyway. We brake. Got that about right as we go through. Apparently that's the S's, is it? Well, it doesn't. Oh, okay. Well, this next section is probably the S's, but that corner definitely wasn't. Around the outside of the V4R. Not quite going to get that one done. And through this last corner, they're actually pretty good. Yeah, look how much drive they got compared to me there. Oh, probably stay off the curb. That's probably not an area you want to go. So we go into the first corner then. It's been a good first lap, up to 2nd place. We should get up to 3rd place. Sorry, now up to 2nd place. Hopefully we can try and get the leader here. We're going to brake nice and early, not to have the rear end skip out on me, because in the rain I think I will crash up the inside into the lead of the race. So there we go. This is what happens when I get a track that I'm fairly comfortable with, actually, because I think this is probably the track I've done the most laps on. Although Silverstone's got to be a close second. Although actually maybe it's Zolder even, because obviously a lot of the events have been at Zolder and the demos at Zolder, so yeah, it'll be this Silverstone and Zolder that I've done the most laps at, that's for sure. Oh, again, yeah, I'm down. This time I actually have hit the deck as I've lost the rear, so that's put me back down into 4th position. I've really got to watch for that on that downhill. The rear does step out a lot. I might need to turn the engine braking down potentially to try and counteract that. But now we've got a bit of a race on our hands. I've got to try and get back up into the lead of the race once again. But it should be pretty easy. I don't think it should be too difficult. Yeah, we're all over the back of the Suzuki again, the guy that made the mistake before. The guy in 2nd place just made a big mistake on the V4R. So we're now back up to 3rd. We're going to get 2nd back off the Suzuki. And potentially we could try and take the lead into the right-hander. I'm not going to go for anything too risky, but he's just got such a lack of speed on the straight. Flying past him. It's actually on the MV Agusta as well, so you'd expect it to have pretty good top end, considering how well it accelerates. But maybe it just accelerates well and doesn't have very good top end. That might be the downside of the bike. It'll be good through this sector though, because it was very sweet handling. That's for sure. So, didn't even take us a lap to get back up into the lead, so no worries at all. Just got to be a bit more careful, and I probably do need to turn the engine braking off. I'm going to turn it off just to help it, and I'm going to just try and brake a little earlier for this section as well, for the last few laps of the race. So the rear end definitely felt a lot more stable with the engine braking turned off, so that was my new fastest lap of the race by 1.2 seconds. I suppose the pace is going to get better every lap with the track drying. So I've now actually got a 1¼ second penalty because I just picked up 7/10 by going slightly too tight to on the corners. Fair enough, but I mean, I'm miles out in the lead, so it's no biggie to me. Oh, and another crash at the same spot. I slowed down a lot. I thought I'd actually slowed down enough, but I guess not quite. The rear still stepped out, even with the engine braking off. So that's definitely something you've got to be careful of, especially at that corner, but I mean, in a lot of corners as well, the rear really does want to come around on you. I just picked up another ½ second penalty by accidentally going on the grass, but I do feel like I'm finally starting to kind of get the hang of the game. I know I've made a lot of mistakes in this race, but a lot of them have been very odd crashes as well. But up towards the line then, easy win once again. It is really disappointing that the AI are just set to this super low difficulty, because it makes the races, now that I can actually stay on a bit better, just really, really easy. Yeah, so in the end we were 20 seconds ahead of the guy in first, and we were 52 seconds ahead of the guy in last, so that just shows us a big gap. I mean, he is miles behind the guy in front. Dennis Southern is 14 seconds off of Thiago Garner, so don't know what happened to the guy in last place, actually. He's miles behind the guy in front of him, but we finally got a pretty decent win under my belt. Obviously, again, 2 crashes. You don't really deserve a win for that, but I mean, look, the AI just crashed in the background, actually, so that shows you the rear end. There's some weird crashes with it sometimes. Oh, I was wrong. PBR is sprockets, not exhaust. So I probably just made myself a bit of an idiot before, but there we go. We got 2 new sprockets, and credits we got 2,700 as well. So quite a nice haul. And we're up to rider level 6 now because we've got 8,000 XP. So we're really rising those ranks. So then on to the last race of this episode. That seems to come around pretty quick, but the last event already. Even though it was a 7-lapper in the last one, that seemed to end pretty quickly. This time we've got qualifying. We're back at Zolder again. I'm getting a bit sick of Zolder, that's for sure, because 4 of the first 6 events have been at Zolder. Actually, it's not 4, is it? It's 3, so it's half of the events so far have been at Zolder. So getting a little bit sick of Zolder, but oh well, it's not too bad, I suppose. This time it's actually dry, you can see, so we should be able to just stick on a set of slicks, and that should be good. We've got qualifying as well, so we've got the potential to start on pole position and absolutely pull away. So it's actually the first race of a championship as well, so it's the European Grand Cup, race 1 of 5. Compete on European circuits and do your best to win the championship. So yet another championship we're entering. However, this time I think we should get the win straight off the bat, provided I don't do anything silly with the tyres. I'll quickly have a look at what tyres we've got available, because I probably will need to buy some more soon. Well, to be honest, the OEMs that were on before are not really very worn at all, so you know, I'll just keep using them for now whilst they're still pretty decent, although I probably should check the rear one, because the front was good, but the rear one might be worn. Nope, the rear one's actually pretty good as well, so yeah, I think that's what I'll go with then, those OEM tyres. Let's get this one started. Oh, of course, there's qualifying first. I think I might skip the qualifying though and just start at the back of the grid again. But here we are for the actual race itself then. I probably should have used qualifying just to get in the groove of Zolder a little bit, although I've done it plenty of times now. You think I'd know the braking zones, but obviously I have been struggling so far, and this is the first time in the dry for a while. Obviously previously it was the wet. So let's get onto the grid then, starting from last place. Seems like they are on 60 again, so yeah, they are on 60 again. So we should be able to get our way through quite easily. It's just, I know I keep going on about it, but it's just so weird that they're on 60 when you set it to the hardest difficulty. Just, it makes no sense. So then, lights are now on. Waiting for the lights to go out here then at Zolder. Lights out and away we go. Got a fair amount of wheel spin off the line actually. We've just had a bit of contact with a Honda in front of us. I've braked too late for the first corner, but I've actually somehow got away with that. I kind of punted the rider in front of me, but I got away with it. We've got a really good run actually through the first corner. So we were up into, I think, 4th place very briefly there on the entry to turn 2. Now down to 5th place. Hopefully we can try to get around the outside of a few riders here. Up to 4th, around the outside up to 3rd. So this has been an amazing start. Can we try and get 2nd place into this right-hander? Not quite yet. We'll just hold station, but around the outside of the other BMW, up to 2nd. We'll go blast past the Suzuki up into 1st place. I think it was the Suzuki anyway. It looked like it said Suzuki on the license plate. Yeah, it was. We got absolutely dived. I've actually messed that up quite badly through the chicane, so we're back down into... Well, we were back down to 4th, but now immediately back up to 2nd. That's how quickly these things change in these races. Side by side with the Suzuki, going to hit the brakes nice and early. This time I had contact with him. Again, it's quite difficult to turn in when the AI are on the inside. They definitely don't want you to turn in. They'll try and match you on the brakes. We've hit the front here then. Hopefully I don't make too many mistakes in this one, because I don't have confidence at Zolder that I can actually come back through if I start to crash a couple of times. Obviously, the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, I'm quite comfortable with that track, so I feel like I could catch back up if I made a mistake, but at this circuit, I'm not so sure. I went too hot into the chicane again and binned it once again. Of course, it wouldn't be a lap of Zolder if I didn't mess up the chicane. It's super difficult because there's not really a good braking point for it. There's no marker, I mean, to actually use to brake, so that's why I keep messing it up. I probably should have just sat the bike on the straight line instead of trying to make the turn. Around the outside, get off the curb. Yep, we managed to survive a curb that time. So we're now up into 6th position once again, but I'm sure we'll be back up into the lead in no time. Here we go, around the outside, up into 5th. Into this right-hander. On the exit, we should hopefully get up into 4th. Yes, we do. On the power, 3rd. We could even get 1st on this straight, so up to 3rd. Side by side with 2nd. I'm going to hit the brakes for this chicane. And dive on by the AI. That is definitely a strength of the AI. They take the corners very deep, although that's just cost them a load of time. Back up to 2nd. Back up to 1st. So back into the lead once again, and at pretty much the same point I did it on the previous lap. So for once I actually did the chicane at Zolder correctly. That's got to be about my first clean lap of Zolder in total, I think. So towards the line then, 1 minute 35.4. So I'm on the last lap now then, and to be honest, this race has been a bit boring, mainly down to the fact I haven't really been crashing or anything like that, but it has been very useful to me, especially that last race as well. With those two just together, these races where I've just sort of been out on my own doing laps with no pressure, it's really actually helped me to get to grips with the handling model a lot more. I suppose I'm probably coming up to about 4 hours playtime total now, if I was to look at my Steam library, so I suppose that does make sense once I'm starting to get to grips with it again, because of course the first time I ever played the game, as I say that, I'm getting to grips with it, completely messed up a losers in front, but we're still good because we had over a 10-second lead, so I should be okay, but I don't want to be doing that again because that actually might put me behind them. But yeah, I'm starting to sort of get to grips with the physics. It's just you've got to be quite smooth. That's the thing, you can't be aggressive on the downshifts because the rear will lock. You can't be too aggressive on the acceleration because you'll obviously sort of spin up a bit. Well, that's not too bad. It is mainly just the brakes that have been struggling with the whole time, really. And obviously the curbs as well, so I'm just sort of teaching myself to keep off the curbs and just to be careful of the rear end. But the brakes as well is making most of my mistakes. We're up towards the line then. It's another win in RIMS Racing Career Mode and another dominant one. Although this time it was only 10 seconds in the end, 25 seconds to the guy that finished last, but that's the first race of the European Championship, and it's a win. 4,000 credits to the team point as well, so that's always nice to see. Plus 5,000 XP takes me up to rider level 7, so pretty successful episode. So that pretty much brings this video to a close. Honestly, it doesn't seem like the video was too long, just recording it now, especially since a lot of the races are probably going to get cut out because there really wasn't much to say because I was out front on my own. So if the video is a little bit shorter, I'll probably start to do 4 events for the next race, but I have no idea how long the video will be till I actually edit it. So if it's over 15 minutes, I'll probably just stay with the 3 events, but if it's under that, then I'll definitely be sure to start doing 4. I'll keep looking around, see if I can find any settings or if I can see where anybody else has got their AI difficulty above 60, but for now, it just seems like the difficulty is locked to 60 for me, regardless of what happens. I can actually show you right now just to... I know I'm sure you believe me anyway, but just to be like sort of 100% sure that it's not just me doing something stupid. So if we go down to settings, go into general, you can see career difficulty on pro. There's nothing else to do with AI in any of these settings if you look through. Obviously, there's nothing going to be in audio. Controls, again, there's nothing in there. So there's absolutely nothing to do with actual an AI slider on its own or anything like there is in single player. It just seems that in the career mode at the minute, it's starting at 60. Now, whether that's just because it's going to sort of ease me into it and it's going to get harder as I go on, I'm not too sure yet. But do let me know in the comments below if similar things happen to you or if you found a fix or if it's not happened to you. Because I think the game officially actually launches today, so you guys can play it. I'm sure some of you probably already were. If you'd pre-ordered on console, I think you could already play it from the other day. But the actual, I think this is the day it actually releases on the 19th when this video is going up. So yeah, hopefully you guys can enlighten to me in the comments, see if the same thing's happening to you. But I hope you did enjoy that one regardless. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.